I wanted to become a financial advisor, and there's nothing wrong with having goals that are linked to finances, because I was looking up on the board and thinking, blimey, they're making a lot of money. And in my head I thought, why would I want to be a lawyer earning a fraction but working quadruple the amount? Makes no sense to me. When it comes to turning the lead on with lead generation, I do it like that. January and February, I had 85 meetings, first meetings. So now I'm all right. But that's how much focus I place on business development. But that's, I guess, just my nature of how I deal with my clients, the way in which I treat them, and I'm just getting constant referrals.
Is there any kind of tried and tested business development strategies that you could share today with our audience to get them going?
You have to be passionate about helping people, because believe me, they see right through you if you don't. Right now, I'm spending more energy on my family. I'm spending more energy at universities, mentoring students, right? I'm doing things I love. But that doesn't mean my business is suffering. If anything, my business is doing better.
Jack, thanks so much for joining me today on the Financial Planner Life podcast. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm great. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're absolutely welcome. Interesting background. We've been having a bit of a chinwag over a coffee just before the podcast. You worked on a death penalty case in America. Let's start with that first. Tell us a little bit about that in that early part of your career.
Yeah. So this was when I was 19, 20 years old. As you are when you're young, you have dreams and aspirations, some realistic, some unrealistic. So I wanted to be a lawyer the way lawyers are in America, in court, advocating, for death penalty or against it, whatever it may be. And I wanted to do some work experience in that field. So there's a company called California Innocence Project, reached out to Jeff Chin at the time, who was the lead attorney, got some work experience, flew out there, and one of the first cases I worked on was the Brian Banks case, which has later turned into a Netflix movie. Wonderful experience, but reality hit home when I moved back to the UK, and UK law is nothing like that. It's a bit boring.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not made for the movies.
Not me. It'd be an awful movie, put it that way.
So how long did you spend in law then? Did you sort of give it a good couple of years, or did you just make a very early decision to not be in it?
No, I did. I spent a few years, trained as a barrister, worked as a paralegal, a medical negligence company. And honestly, I was young at the time, and I just didn't feel as if I was fulfilled in terms of my goals. So that's when I moved to Dubai. Moved into the finance sector, and I've never looked back.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's look. I'm in Dubai. That's current, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what you were doing over in Dubai then.
So I joined a finance company, wealth management company, and started off as a business development manager. And it is how it is, as in the West is the West. So there's a lot of cold calling, a lot of getting out there, hard hours. And in short, the more you put in, the more you get out. So I was doing that for probably about 6 months before I was promoted to head of business development. So obviously what I was doing was working for myself, and we wanted to share that. And then I thought, you know what? I love this. I love the thrill. I was young. I was 24, 25. It was exciting. And I wanted to become a financial advisor. And there's nothing wrong with having goals that are linked to finances, because I was looking up on the board and thinking, blimey, they're making a lot of money. And in my head, I thought, why would I want to be a lawyer earning a fraction but working quadruple the amount? Makes no sense to me. At the time, I was young. So decided to do the exams, and again, never looked back.
Fantastic. So how long did you spend in Dubai as a financial advisor?
In total, it was maybe about 2 years, 2 to 3 years, because I actually moved back to the UK to open the UK arm of the company, which again was exciting because Chris at the time, who was my CEO, said, he gave me full reins. He said, go set up, hire people, get it fully functioning, get the business development solid, and we've got our UK branch. So that's what I ended up doing. So it was 2 to 3 years, Dubai and Newcastle at the time, both mixed.
Interesting. So what happened?
Um, Again, it was probably my thought process. I was very determined to go down one route. Listen, I was earning good money as a 25, 26-year-old at the time, significantly more than the average. But I wasn't fulfilled. I wanted to do more. So I decided, okay, I want to move closer to family.
Mm-hmm.
Family is big for me. And I want to give UK advice a go, because international advice is different, as you'll know, very different. And that was the decision I made. Joined Wesleyan, who are based in Birmingham. It was remote advice. I was used to working remotely before COVID, and my biggest strength was business development. So I took to it like, really, really well.
I remember I ran a recruitment company, and I used to recruit for Wesleyan, and Wesleyan was like teachers, lawyers, dentists, doctors. And I always remember they were saying, like, the type of caliber individual we're looking for is highly business development focused, because at the time they weren't dishing out leads left, right and centre, but you had to be able to go into a hospital and set up an office and be able to catch these very busy individuals at times where most people probably didn't want to do it, like, especially like teachers. It's very hard to get a hold of, etc. So very interesting. Okay, business development then for you is something that you cut your teeth on very early on, and I can understand why, because the international game is, if you don't really start with business development, you haven't really got a job out there. That's pretty much how it was, and even back then would have been that's all it would have been. It's pure business development. So it does teach you to cut your teeth and eat what you kill and hunt, basically. I know these are all quite aggressive words, but essentially business development is the lifeblood of any business. If you don't business development, if you don't prospect, if you don't sell yourself or your services to somebody, the likelihood is you're not going to make any money. And it's something that, if you're living in Dubai, it's quite expensive, right? And you want to create a certain lifestyle, it's got to be paid for. And you can't stay in Dubai, can you, unless you've got some income, because it's not a state like that which is going to support you. So we're obviously sat in the St. James's Place studio right now. When did this journey happen? How did you get into St. James's Place?
It's a bit of a funny story, because I was approached by, I guess you call them partnership recruitment or whatever you call them, initially. And I said no, because I was very happy where I was. Again, you've got to factor in how young I was at the time.
How old were you then when they approached
26.
you? Okay.
And, as a 26-year-old, I was earning very good money. And I thought, no, I'm happy. So I said no. And then about a year later, a different person approached me. And this person, he was on my level. And that's so important, because off air, we were talking about psychology of how to speak to different people. So this person, he spoke to me in a way that I got it. And a lot of my colleagues said the same thing to me. They said, Jack, the way you are, go off on your own. You'll make a success of it. You won't need to worry. So I took the plunge. And, when I started with St. James's Place, I knew I would not have any problems with lead generation. Never. If I could bring in 100 leads a month, I know what I can close from it. Right? It's not, I don't have to guarantee myself anything. I know I can turn that switch on or off. And I've done that throughout my entire career. And I think with business development, you need two assets. One, you need the courage, the cojones to go out there and do what's required. And two, you use the term hunt. And we also had a bit of a chat off air about doing BSPs or buying businesses. I don't want to do that. Why? Because I see myself as a hunter. It's not a bad term. You can be a hunter. And I think that's my St. James's Place journey for the first year. I was hunting. I was generating leads left, right and centre. And after that first year, I knew I've set myself up in terms of don't have to worry.
Did you go straight into self-employment with St. James's Place?
Yep.
Did you just go straight into self-employment running your own partner practice?
Yep. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. Have you got any really interesting stories about how you've proved yourself in a business development setting?
Yeah, I mean, my first ever success story, I guess, would be this one client from Scotland. I wanted him as a client. I don't know why. Do you know when you just see someone on LinkedIn and he had YouTube videos, and I just thought, you're the type of guy we'd get along. And obviously cold calling wasn't working because he was so senior with Vodafone, right? One of the most senior individuals with Vodafone globally. So I noticed they had a tech summit in Luxembourg. So I thought to myself, I'm flying out there, I don't care. I'll be one of those stalkers, right?
You flew out there.
Flew out there, got myself a ticket, flew out to Luxembourg, and I took with me a couple of cans of Iron-Bru, right?
Yeah.
Because Scottish people, they love Iron-Bru, right? So he did the opening speech at the tech summit, and I waited for him to get off the stage, but I was stood there with a can of Iron-Bru, and as soon as he got off, I said, "Have you got 20 minutes?" He looked at the Iron-Bru, he said, "Yep." Spoke for 20 minutes. He become a client. Not there and then, obviously. We arranged follow-up meetings, etc. But again, I was 25 at the time. I was 25, and I just thought, well, what's the harm? There's no harm in me doing that. Worst case scenario, I visited another country and ticked it off my list.
You must have visualized that he was going to meet you, greet you, and become a client. Then, how did you kind of convince yourself that it was a good idea?
Don't know. I just did it. I did it, and the thing is, in my mind, I thought to myself, "What's the worst? What's the worst? He's not going to punch me, is he?
No.
Right? What's the worst that could happen?" He said, "No, not interested. Fine. I've had a couple of days in Luxembourg. Great." And I've had that even when I joined the Wesleyan. Right? They do have a focus on business development, but you've got to go out and do it.
Hmm.
And I got, as you mentioned, I work with the teachers segment. First thing I did was I just walked into a bloody school. Walked in and said, "Hey, I'm here. Let me tell your staff things they don't know. It's not going to cost you anything." Right? It was great for me. Why? The first ever seminar I delivered, it was on an inset day. There was 85 members of teaching staff, another 70 odd members of non-teaching staff, right? So potentially there's almost 160 potential new clients. Half of them are married. So if you add that up, it's over 200 potential leads. That was my first ever seminar. I was busy for the entire year just off that one seminar. So there's two sort of stories in terms of business development. And obviously I've got tons more, but I'm very fortunate now where I don't have to be doing it. I still go out and do it. I enjoy it. I love it. I love the thrill of it.
You like the hunt, don't you?
I love it, honestly. But I don't need to. That was such a fortunate position to be in. And it gives me the ability to do something that's so important, which is manage my time myself. No one takes over my time. So what I mean by that is, it's Ramadan now. I don't need to work the whole month. When it comes to November, December, don't work. When it comes to the summer holidays, don't work. And people think I'm crazy. I was having this chat with Anthony, one of my peers, yesterday, actually. And I was explaining, I don't need to do it. Why? Because when it comes to turning the lead on with lead generation, I do it like that. January and February, I had 85 meetings. First meetings. So now I'm all right. But that's how much focus I place on business development.
Nice. So you are wired to be super wealthy and super successful if that was your biggest driving factor in your life. Do you do battle with that thought up against the thought of spending more time with your family or living your life on your time and means? Like, it sounds to me like you value time over money.
Yeah, and do you know what? That is the biggest challenge of anyone that sees the banknotes in this industry. Because at first, I was making a lot of money and thinking to myself, I love this. I love this. But you're right. Time is the biggest asset and commodity anyone has in this world. You don't know whether you're going to be alive tomorrow. I don't know. We don't know, right? What's the point in focusing so much on money if you don't have a life to go with it? So for me, there's three things that take precedent over making money, and they always will. One is my faith. I don't work Fridays. I know I'm sat here on a Friday, but this is something that I wanted to do. I don't work Fridays. Why? Because that's the day for me to go to pray in the mosque, the congregational prayer. When it's Eid, I take the entire week off. I want to celebrate with my family. And that leads me on to number two, my family. I have set days where it's just family. That will never change. Every single weekend I go visit my parents. It will never change. Nothing takes over from that. And the third one is myself. I have in my diary gym time. Not because I want to look great, or it sets me on the right path. I like the fact that I don't have to work before 10 a.m. So between 8 to 10, I'm at the gym doing whatever I need to do. I've got hobbies. They take priority. Now, I've got to that stage because I feel as if I'm content. And that's fine, in my opinion. I don't need to hunt the rest of my life. I'm happy. I'm content. I love the way I've got myself in this sort of mindset.
Can I ask you how much that is that you require to be able to take your foot off the gas, for instance?
Yeah, I think.
I'm sure it's different for everybody. But
Yeah,
I'm
it
just...
is. And do you know what? There's key moments in their life. I had three. When I was young, when I started off in the industry, I had two friends that passed away who were my age. One was actually younger. One passed away, car accident in Saudi Arabia, and another passed away out the blue, like no reason. And that got me thinking. I thought that's affected me, and they were close to me as well. So that was one trigger where I thought I need to change my life. The second trigger for me was my family. I didn't like being away. At first, I loved it. Young person living the life, making money, etc. It was great. But home is home. Even now, when I go on holiday, right? I live in Preston, but I was born in Liverpool. I don't miss Preston at all. I miss Liverpool. I miss the house I grew up in. So they were drivers for me. And in terms of monetary value, I said to myself, do you know what? If I can guarantee myself 50,000 a year, I'll take my foot off the gas. And I did that quite early in my journey in terms of my servicing, what I get for servicing my clients. So that was in my head the figure. If I get to that figure, I'll take my foot off the gas. I'll do things that I'm passionate about.
And once you reach that figure, did it stay at that figure?
No, this is still going up, it's what happens in this industry, because a hunter, once they've been hunting for so long, guess what? They reap the benefits, right?
How do you balance that then? Because when's enough then for you?
I'd say I'm there.
You're there now?
Yeah.
What is it? Can I ask?
Yeah, in terms of funds under management.
Yeah.
So from a monetary perspective, if I did nothing else, probably 15.
Yeah.
But I know I'll easily double that in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's what we've said. It's that contentment.
Do you feel content?
I love it. Yeah, I am. Because right now I'm spending more energy on my family. I'm spending more energy at universities mentoring students. I'm spending more energy on holidays. I'm constantly going on holidays, right? I'm doing things I love. But that doesn't mean my business is suffering. If anything, my business is doing better. It's crazy how that's come about. But that's, I guess, just my nature of how I deal with my clients, the way in which I treat them. And I'm just getting constant referrals.
Business development is an area in the UK, especially, where younger people are struggling
Yeah.
to apply that skill. And you see it within financial planning, right? You see younger people coming into financial planning, even older people coming into financial planning, second careerists, right? Where they haven't got skills and experience of business development, they're coming in, getting the qualifications, and they're not really applying themselves in the way they should be to go out and win new business. Are you seeing this, and what are you doing about it to help people?
I am seeing it, and I think it's sad. I think as an industry, whether you're professional bodies or whether you are a key decision maker, you need to do better. And the reason why I say that is because we've got a massive issue, as you know, a problem with people coming into the industry, young people, right? Well, it's all well and good getting them through the door, fine, but help them succeed. I don't think enough is being done about that business development wise, because the people who are teaching them, they're teaching them their methods, which is fine, but that might have been 20 years ago. It's not the same. In this country, we can't pick up the phone and cold call people, GDPR. We can't send a LinkedIn message, GDPR. We can't knock on the door, GDPR/harassment. But there's a lot of things we can't do that were done back in the day. So that adaptability needs to be understood. So how are we going to help the younger generation? Well, we need to teach them the skills that we had that they don't have. And this is where psychology plays in, right? Little things like, well, when you go to a meeting, it's not one shoe fits all. It ain't. I go to some meetings wearing a hoodie, no joke. I go to some meetings wearing a football top. David, one of my good clients, is a big Liverpool fan. Why would I rock up a proper Scouser in a suit? He would not resonate with me. But in a Liverpool top, he resonates with me. How you talk, how you walk, how you present yourself. These are the things that need to be taught, because that's the first stage of business development, how you are perceived. Once you break that barrier, then it's, okay, what do you do next? And again, old tricks just wrapped in different color wrapping paper, that does not do the job. Yes, on the outside it might look great, but it's not. Again, I'm 33, so I'm not that old. I look old, right? But I'm not that old. I've lived through being a young advisor and going through all of this. And I'm saying it from my perspective. I didn't like it. I hated it. Because what I was being taught was old tricks that just don't work. Whether it's build a connection with an accountant. You speak to any accountant, they've probably got 14, 15 financial advisors on their books. Build a connection with a solicitor, same thing. Mortgage, no, they don't work anymore. Stop it. Stop it. And I'm saying this because I mentor 12 people, and they've all got the same issue, a lack of leads. A lack of leads. My young brother, he's just qualified as well. I'm going to let him suffer for a bit, because I think that is important to build resilience. But believe me when I say, when I spend time with him, it's nothing to do with knowledge on taxation, knowledge on investments. No, none of that. It's business development. How do I get him out there in front of people? And I think more has to be done about that. And I'm so passionate about it that I do spend a lot of my time. I go to universities, lecture on business development, on people skills, psychology. That's what I spend my time doing now.
So we'll have a number of people listening to this podcast who would love to hear your views and opinions on business development, and maybe some hints and tips. Is there anything you can share with them today?
Yeah, simple things. And I'll share today as an example. I was taught when I was very, very young, when you walk past someone, treat them like an opportunity. Such a simple statement, but it has so many layers to it. When you walk past someone, treat them like an opportunity, meaning make eye contact, smile, talk. Don't be dismissive, because you don't know who that person is. Never know who that person is. I was on the train today and it got delayed by an hour. When the announcement came, It got delayed by an hour. They told us to get on another train, and I was stood next to a woman. And first thing we did was made eye contact. She was probably in her late 50s. Made eye contact, smiled, all that. Then I said to her, "Listen, love, don't get on that train, because if you get on that train, it'll get you to Euston an hour and a half later. Just wait for another half an hour and get on the other train." So whilst we were waiting, we were talking half an hour. When we were on the train, we spoke for 2.5 hours almost. Just speaking about everything and anything. And we were actually having a discussion, thinking, do you know what? The younger generation, they couldn't do that now. Genuinely, they couldn't do that, because they have not been brought up the same. And it's not a criticism. It's our fault, in my opinion. So what tips would I give? Make eye contact with people. Smile. If you're at the gym, don't wear headphones. Such a simple change. If you're on the train, don't be watching your series, Netflix, whatever. Look at people, speak to people. It's an opportunity there for you. And as I was saying before, I've gained 2 clients whilst on a plane, flying to go on holiday, just by talking to people.
Yeah, I think younger generation are talking through mobile, talking through like text, talking through computer games. You know, they don't even sit in the same room and play a computer game next to each other. Like when I was younger,
It's crazy.
I remember I used to like lug my PC around somebody's house, and all my mates did, right? And we all had PCs. We'd connect them via a local area network to play games against each other in the same room, and it was fab and it was interactive. And yeah, we were multiplayering and all of that, but we weren't doing it in separate houses. And I remember when like online gaming came through. Now it's just like they don't have their friends around to play football. They all play football through FIFA, or they, and it's just, and they're talking, literally shouting at each other through their microphones, playing games against each other. There is no face-to-face contact, and it's like, actually, when I said to you, give us a simple tip. That is like the most simplest tip, isn't it? Is like make eye contact with somebody and ask an open question, be inquisitive and find out about them, and just let it naturally flow. Because I'm exactly the same, right? I can't not sit next to someone on a plane without asking them a question. That's how I am, because I love it, and I could sit there for 5 hours, right, and proper get a lot out of asking questions and listening. And I love listening. I just love picking up on things that people are saying, because it just does something to my brain. It like rewires my brain. I learn more about somebody. I know then how to ask another question in the future that will lead to a specific type of answer. It's not manipulation at all. I'm never doing it to try to manipulate somebody. I'm doing it because I love learning about people. And like you said about psychology, right? That's exactly the same thing, right?
I'm huge on psychology. And do you know what? We need to have an appreciation of generations, right? So what I mean by that is appreciate the generation that had the gift of the gab, right? They were salespeople. Nothing wrong with that. But also appreciate the younger generation that don't have that, but they have the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So we're in our industry. I'm speaking about our industry. We've got the older generation who have that sales skill. They can talk, they can charm. But the younger generation, they've got the knowledge, but do you see what I mean?
Yeah,
so we need to pass down those skills that we've built up.
One of my favorite business strategist is Daniel Priestley, who does Key Person of Influence. And I'm a firm believer in like the Key Person of Influence strategy. And it's about also understanding specific niches. We've never had so many niches within society, and so many things that you are passionate about personally that you could turn into your niche market of where you can then go in and sell your services. Like we talked about gaming earlier. You could be so like into gaming, then why don't you become the advisor, the financial planner to the gaming community? I've said this like numerous times. There's one guy actually who keeps contacting me now and telling me what he's doing and how he's trying to do it. And it's about kind of like, look, if you're into gaming, for example, right, and that's what you love talking about, then become the financial planner to the gaming community. If you like football, whatever hobby it is that you like, that individual niche, if you've got something in common with them, get in with that niche and become the financial planner to that community. Now, when you're the financial planner to that community, you might start hobnobbing with other key people of influence within there. So there might be the person who does the best events or the best trainers the best people who train those types of people, or the best computer company who set up the best PCs gaming. So you start to learn who all these key people of influence are. But then by doing that as well, you're building a relationship who are also solid. So you get considered a key person of influence by the community, but they are then able to actually introduce you as well into others, right? You start to make introductions. So it's not just think about the end consumer being the client. It's also about thinking about who can you connect with, other key people of influence that then give you credibility. Is there any kind of tried and tested business development strategies that you could share today with our audience to get them going?
Yeah, I have my own strategies in place, and it works for me. And I firmly believe it would work for most people if they implement it in their own niche ways. So, for example, I go into a lot of schools. The reason why I go into schools, number one, I love working with teachers and teaching staff. They're just nice people. We get along. I deliver a seminar. So I could go into a secondary school, deliver a seminar to 100 members of staff. Out of the 100, half of them will probably be married. There's 150 potential leads for me there straight away. I then offer them surgery days. So rather than, as you will know, contacting them, not getting responses, all this, your hit rate, so to speak, I offer that same school, or it could be a corporate company, surgery day. I'll literally say, I'm going in, I'm sitting there 9 till 5 in your sort of school office. Every single person has to have a 20-minute meeting with me. I don't give them a choice. So after a couple of days, I've spoken to almost 150 people. It's so simple but effective. I'll then walk away thinking, yeah, I've at least helped people or potentially got clients as well, right? I then offer well-being sessions, right? And it's not just me standing there saying, oh, if you understand about your pension, you're going to feel better, mentally better. No, it's giving them more. I'll say to that school or the staff, you know what? I'm going to give you what you need. If I feel as if your school needs an NHS approved counsellor, believe me, I'll get one involved. And I've got someone. If I feel as if you need a yoga instructor for your staff for a day, I've got someone. If I feel as if, do you know what, this is out of my area of expertise, but your staff members are quite young, they need to understand more about mortgages, I'll bring someone for you. I'm offering them a lot. What's my objective? Well, two. I care about people. That's what you have to do. You have to be passionate about helping people because, believe me, they see right through you if you don't. And number two, of course, I want clients. I'm not going to lie about that. And I get clients. That's a strategy that I have. Then it's moving on to social media. I'll be honest, I wasn't that great at social media. I've always had a very good LinkedIn. But other areas I'd neglect because I just thought, oh no, I can't be bothered. I'm not creative like you are, Sam. But now I've got a marketing team. I'm out there. I'm doing things that are out of my comfort zone. And I know how important that is. And then it's the indirect marketing that comes, indirect business development that comes from all of that as well. So what I mean by indirect, you mentioned it earlier actually, it's doing things, and it's the slow burners that are so effective, right? It's doing things where there's not going to be an immediate gain, but in the long run, it comes off.
Yeah.
In the long run, it does come off. I'll do a lot of that. A lot of that. Again, going back to the woman I met on the train, we exchanged numbers, but not once did we speak about finance. She's seen the person I am first. But I know where that's going because my experience is telling me. That's indirect.
One of the things I definitely would say is if you're going to sit down and you're going to talk to people, right, you need to be able to then drive them somewhere they're going to continue to build a relationship with you off without even picking up the phone to you.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about the podcasting side of things. That's what I love about LinkedIn and social marketing is that I'll send you my LinkedIn requests. Now you may not pick the phone up to them again, but if they're logging into LinkedIn, they're going to see you. And they're going to hear what you're about, and they're going to hear your value. So when it does come to the point where they want to buy at some point, or they want advice, or whatever it might well be, who they're going to go to. They're going to
Yeah,
go
of
to you,
course.
right? And they're
Yeah.
going to remember that meaningful conversation that you had that wasn't always about financial advice. They just go, oh, great. I knew he was a financial advisor, but now I can see
Yeah.
the different side to him on LinkedIn.
But underpinning all of that is you need to show your personality.
Yeah.
If you haven't got a personality, go out and get one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Build one. My favorite client, I don't mind saying this, I love her to bits, Alison, right? Her sister and her dad had a financial advisor. Her dad's 96. So they've had a financial advisor in their family for about 50 years, the same one. When I met Alison, this is probably about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, right? She just wanted advice on teachers' pensions, and that was my specialty. So I gave her it. I knew she had other investments, but not once did I push her. I said, she'll come to me when she's ready. She was telling me she's not happy because the guy doesn't respond. She's had all these issues. You know, she doesn't know what to do with X, Y, Z. And I thought, okay, I'll give you help. I'll advise you. I'll help your dad with whatever he needs, blah, blah. I was doing that out of the goodness of my heart. She's seen the person I was. She still didn't become a client. I never pushed her. I would see her twice a year. Guess what? She ended up becoming my client. She sent me a WhatsApp, I wish I had my phone on me, saying it was the best decision she's ever made. Because I care about her. She sends me photos post-operation, right, of her neck. She had a neck operation. But that's how I treat my clients. And for any advisor, you need to be showing your personality, your human touch before you do anything. It's so powerful.
These are lifelong relationships at the end of the day.
Yeah, she's become a client. Her dad's become a client. Her sister's become a client. Her neighbour's become a client. Just by, number one, being me, but two, not pushing her too quick.
It's also when you break down the concept of people by people. That's
so powerful.
It's not just a word, mate. Like, say it to yourself, people by people, and then explore what that word is, and really go into the detail of the fact that, are you selling yourself?
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
In any industry, people buy into people
all the time,
not the product.
No,
never the product.
Product is secondary, without a shadow of a doubt, mate. People buy people, and if you don't understand that, write that word down. Spend an hour analyzing it, and by the end of that put a piece of paper in front of you, and by the end of that hour, make sure you've written down some things about yourself that
definitely. I told my students this, honestly, they laughed.
Yeah,
I told my students, look, if none of you have a personality, go out and get one.
Build one. Yeah, definitely.
Go out and get one, because you ain't getting anywhere in life without it.
Yeah. I love that, mate. And there are multiple kind of like new ways to develop business, right? So like, again, it's just look at you get computers in gaming. You could Twitch, couldn't you, and stream and stuff like that. Like, how many people could you stream to? How could you sponsor somebody else's stream? How could you interview some toppy gamers about what they do, the games they're playing, but also how they manage their money?
Honestly, business development has no limits. It has no limits. And I'll give you a strange example, which was something I still can't wrap my head around, right? I know someone that has bought virtual land, right?
Yeah.
So we've all heard of cryptocurrency, but there's buying virtual land now, which is a thing.
In the metaverse.
Metaverse, yeah.
Yeah.
So this person bought virtual land, and rather than hosting Dungeons and Dragons, this person used to host Dungeons and Dragons in the basement of their home. They host Dungeons and Dragons on the virtual land now. It makes no sense to me. But what this person has done, they've monetized it by charging people. It's insane. Now, I'm just using that as a random example of business development because it has no limits, right? I've done a spin class at my gym at 5 a.m. because there was 10 doctors who wanted financial advice on NHS pension. So I said, I get you're all bloody busy. Let's do a spin class. And whilst we're spinning, we're talking. It was difficult for me because I'm not a spinner, but that was business development, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think the core, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, the core issue is our industry are set up or doing enough. And that may or may not be controversial, but that's my opinion because I think we can be, as an industry, doing a lot more, right? The two issues are, how do we get younger people into the industry? It's not just younger people, more women. And it's not just women as well. It's different statuses. How many financial planners do you see from Tower Hamlets? right? But how many do you see from Cambridge?
Mm.
We can't just be so focused on one area and dismiss the rest. That's the first barrier. The second barrier is once they're through the door, how do we help them? And not enough is being done, in my opinion.
Do you know Emmanuel Asukro?
No.
So he's from Tower Hamlet,
Mm.
and he's focuses on the black community, and he's ended up on TV and all sorts.
It's amazing.
Personality on TV, and he's a financial planner.
Mm.
So I think you're absolutely right. Like people from different statuses.
I'll give you an example about status because this is a funny one. When I was at the Wesleyan, one of the first clients I signed up was based in Bootle. He owned a convenience store in Bootle
Yeah.
in Liverpool, and my meetings were being observed by my area manager. So when I told my area manager where it was, my area manager parked up at an Asda a couple of miles away and said, "Pick him up," because that area is rough. So he didn't want. He was all comfortable. When we got to the meeting location, we had to go through an alleyway, up the fire escape to get into the apartment. I was all right with it because I grew up around those areas, right? But I could tell my area manager was, oh, he even made a joke. Oh, do I need to wear, a vest, meaning bulletproof vest? I signed that client up, and it taught my area manager a bit of a lesson because you can't judge people based on the area, the status, because this person had 10 businesses, had multiple properties, was worth over 2.5 million, but he was in Bootle. So we, as an industry, we can advocate as much as we want. Financial advice is available to everyone. It is. But I don't think that's how it's taught.
No.
Right? I don't think that's how we operate. Whereas I believe we should. And I'm very passionate about that. Yes, financial advice is available to everyone. But when we get youth into our industry or women into our industry, we can't be selective about where they're from.
No.
We can't run events purely in affluent areas and forget all the other areas. No. Because how are we meant to advocate that when we're not doing that? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. I fully understand.
And I'm very passionate about that because another example, one of the students that I've been mentoring at university, he's 20 years old, studying business, right? He messaged me a couple of weeks ago on WhatsApp. I say to all of them, just message me as much as you want. He received a compensation payout from Amazon. He goes, I need financial advice, but I would never have thought of seeking advice if I didn't know you, because I thought financial advice was only for the wealthy. I'm not wealthy. He's working 3 jobs just to get through uni. But he's approached me, and I love that. I love the feeling that I've made a difference.
So he had some money, did he? He came into some money.
He came into 10 grand.
Okay.
Right? But for him, he's a 20-year-old kid. That was a lot of money, right?
So, and okay, so you didn't dismiss him for that £10,000.
I didn't dismiss him at all. I gave him my time. I told him, no, don't invest it. Why? Because he's actually now looking to become a financial advisor.
Okay.
Because we've been talking so much. He wants to finish his degree. He wants to do his courses, and he needs money. He's got rent to pay, so it's not suitable for him to invest. But I love the fact that my conversations with him have made him believe that advice is available to him as well.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, 100%. Sometimes the conversations that I've had, the byproduct of the ones that I've dismissed have been like the most powerful, and I could have just dismissed
my
that
most
person.
successful, not successful, my biggest client monetary wise, right? How that came about, I had a meeting with a teacher from school. She was 24. She didn't have many. She just wanted to know how can she buy her first home. I had 4 meetings with her because she just wanted clarity on protection, lifetime ISAs, nothing came of it, right? But I made sure she understood financial advice is available to you. Don't think it's not. She referred me to her parents. Her dad became my client. He then referred me to his parents. So the grandparents both become my clients, and they're my biggest clients. That come about because I treated the first person I spoke to with absolute respect, in the sense that I'm going to treat you the same way I treat someone with millions. I will give you the same level of advice.
It's a really good model, mate. It's a really, really good approach. And that's exactly how younger people should be doing it. They shouldn't be kind of just constantly looking like the people who are 55 plus or something. They should be looking at people around their own age and bringing financial advice and financial planning into that generation, especially with the trillions that are being passed down generation to generation over the internet, and, you know, the wealth
Just look
transfer
at the
that's
youth,
going on.
the social media influencers, right? I've got an influencer who's a client. I mean, she won't mind me saying this. She's right pain in the backside, right? Because they're busy. They do so much, right? Now, if you think about it, when we give advice to youth, I'm talking 18 to 30, their focus is spending money. We've been through that because I was there spending money. But there will come a time in their life when they need advice. Who are they going to turn to?
Like influencers, probably.
Well, they're going to turn to one of two people, right? People that are so out there on social media because that's all they know. Or it'll be someone that's recommended through a friend.
Yep.
Now, as an industry, we need to be ready for that because they're earning serious money.
We need to meet them where they are. I think genuinely, like, social media is where these people are.
Oh, yeah.
We need to meet them in social media. So when we talk about influencers, the whole influencer marketing strategy, or the influencer piggyback marketing strategy, is a strong one. I went to this influencer marketing agency recently because we got an app. And we wanted to be able to get this app in front of the right people. And there are tons of these influencer marketing agencies, right, where you can literally pick and choose any influencer with any audience. So I was like looking at it and thinking, like, well, who do we want to use it? And this is different, it's the other way around. We wanted people like in their 50s to be using it, right? And I didn't realize, like, there's such an influencer market of like people in their 50s and 60s, and their followers are like 50s and 60s, and they're growing them. It's a massive market that's growing on YouTube. So when you start working with that influencer and their audience is specifically people looking at them, looking at what it's like to be 55 or 60 years old and how they're living their life, then all of a sudden you say, like, can you review my app for me, please? That then gets pushed out to that audience, and it kind of works the same way. So it got me thinking about the whole next generation. And it's like there's a whole load of influencers. It's not, influencer marketing is not massively expensive either.
No.
And like, if I can just build a relationship with a load of like key influencers, you don't have to be a financial influencer yourself. You can just piggyback off the back of loads of influencers that are out there, and you become this kind of like trusted brand that's associated to them.
Making sure we're ready for it. And the reason why I say that, right? The influencer that I have, initially she took advice from a scam artist.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now, the scam artist is very, very prevalent on TikTok, on Instagram. Huge following. I'm talking millions of followers. He has this Telegram group. He basically scams people, right? And he's still on there now, and I just don't understand how. So he's telling people to invest in this meme coin, that meme coin, and he'll teach people for a fee, blah, 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 all this nonsense. That person and his group is so out there on social media that they've got more of a following than any financial planner.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? So if you're a financial planner, you work with top influencers, and you're saying, I'm here to protect your followers because they're getting scammed.
Yeah.
I'm regulated. This is what I do. Yeah. This is the company regulated by the FCA. I'm not going to be giving any advice, right? But what I'm going to be doing is helping people understand when to recognize a scam, what financial planning is, how it can protect your money, and the realities of investing. Yeah. Can I talk to your followers? And that's a good thing, right?
Of course.
It's a good thing. And that's the thing. It's just like, how do you position it in a way to be protecting people and to be then...
It's not as easy as you make it out. And the easiest example was in the news literally a couple of months ago, Sven-Göran Eriksson, who passed away.
Did he die, did he? Yeah. I didn't see that. Quite, I didn't.
That was a while ago. You've been in Dubai too long already.
I didn't even watch the news in Dubai.
But Sven-Göran Eriksson passed away, and it came out that his estate, his financial advisor had been scamming him. This was a regulated person.
Bloody hell. Yeah.
Who was recommended to him by his representatives. Right? Now, if you're talking that level, these agencies... You can imagine how many financial planners are approaching them, number one, right?
Do you reckon they are?
Yes, I know they are. Because one of the agencies that I've managed to build a relationship with, They said themselves they've had 30 other meetings with advisors.
So you're actually approaching these agencies,
I didn't approach this one. This is my client's agency.
right? Okay.
So obviously they've seen the work that I've done with my client, and they wanted to speak to me because they've had so many other conversations with other advisors and they've just not felt comfortable.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right now, going back onto social media and using my client as an example, before she took advice, she had invested loads of money through this person on social media, lost it, most of it, 90% of it lost. It wasn't regulated. She had no idea what she was doing. A lot of young people are in the same boat. They've never been educated about money. I was when I was young. I was told, the value of money in the sense that make sure you take care of it. They haven't been told that.
Right.
Now, I think, again, if we're moving forward as an industry, we've got to be aware of that as well. So I've been a lot more in front of the camera on TikTok, on Instagram. I've got a marketing agency that I work with. They're pushing it out there. And you know what? It's working because I'm getting more leads from younger people just asking me questions, which is fine.
Have you put your own podcast together yet or not?
I actually have, yeah.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah.
You should do.
And the podcast actually has come about because we all know Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO, right? In my opinion, it started off as a great podcast. The problem I have with it now, everything is from the lens of either a millionaire or a billionaire. It's detached from real life. So my own podcast that I've been doing, I'm speaking to business owners who are the common person, just a person that's running an agency or running a recruitment company or running their own, but they live amongst us, and we're just talking about the real life truths of business.
The stuff that's actually in grasp.
Absolutely,
Someone looking and go, "Oh, I wish I was doing 150 grand a year or whatever. I wish I was doing this, or I wish I had 10 people work for me or whatever." Yeah, I get it.
It's not someone on a podcast that's earning half a billion quid a year that's saying to everyone, never ever buy a home because I'm not doing it.
Yeah. I get it, man. Yeah, I love that. Jack, listen, going to bring this to a close, but I've really, really, really super enjoyed talking to you today, and I feel like I want to continue our relationship outside of the podcast. So let's kind of connect and let's talk and let's share some ideas, because I feel like we're on the same page. And you've energized me today. So
that's good to hear.
Yeah, you have, man, big time. So for a Friday afternoon going into the weekend, I really, really value your time. I really appreciate it. I love your moral compass, mate. I think it's pointing in the right direction, and I think SJP are lucky to have you.
Well, you know what? I've enjoyed it as well, and appreciate you giving me this chance to speak my thoughts. And you know what? The last thing that I want to say is, as an industry, let's do better. That's it. Let's do better.
I love that. Thanks.
Great. Thank you.